Hello and welcome to another livery build. Today I'm making the Sakurai Honda Team from the EWC. If you watched my previous video you would have seen that I mentioned about taking a look and see if anybody had created all of the EWC, if there was any missing liveries, and this one, as a fan of Josh Brooks as well, this one really stood out because of its colour scheme. It's reddy orange bright colour and white colour scheme. I thought looks absolutely stunning. It turned out to be a relatively easy livery to make, so we do stick a suit later on in the video, so stick around for that. But yeah, this one hadn't been done before and I think it looks really nice when it's been finished, so let's see how we get on with this one. As you know, I'm a sucker for a little bit of gradient, so I do like that little touch of gradient here on the side, and you'll see a little bit on the front as well. So that attracted me to this bike. And another thing that was really interesting, something that I'd actually not seen before in a livery, and something that I was quite interested in making, was the actual name of the team isn't just on one side and then mirrored. It wraps, so it begins on one side, Sakurai, it then wraps around the tank and then comes back down the other side. So yeah, I was not going to make a sticker of that because it just wouldn't have worked. So I had to do is, as you're seeing on screen now, is create the Sakurai name wrapped around it directly on the bike. Fortunately, the actual font is nice and simple, so it doesn't take that many layers, and it wasn't too complex, but it's an interesting idea and I really liked it. Can you think of any other liveries that have utilised that kind of wrapping around of a sponsor? I'm not sure. It's not black, it is a very dark midnight blue that they used on the font. So I think that they didn't have the best EWC Suzuka 8-hour race this year. I think it was quite challenging. I believe they finished quite down the field after a little bit of bad luck. 34th I've got them down as finishing, which is a shame. I did watch a lot of the Suzuka 8 hours. Probably the first endurance event that I've really sat and watched more than a good couple of hours. And it's interesting to see the tactics play out. It's more of a thinking race than just an all-out speed. It's definitely more about managing the bike and its longevity, and maybe not riding at maximum percent, but maybe like an 80%, and keeping clean, which is quite interesting to watch that. It reminded me a little bit like road racing, where you are trying to preserve the bike and preserve yourself as well. But the team this year, and what attracted me to this one in particular, was you have Kazuki Ito and Daijiro Hira. They've raced for the team, I believe, for quite some time. However, you had Josh Brooks, the BSB, 2 times BSB champion. He joined them this year. So I was watching this team as a non-factory team as well, to see how they do with the absolute powerhouse that is Josh Brooks. They had the target to secure a podium finish, and they have won a Suzuka 8 hours race before. More on that later. However, as I say, a run of bad luck and I think a couple of small incidents really kind of messed that up. But when I was watching them, they looked on the pace. They were up there in the top 10 pretty consistently before the run of bad luck. So I honestly think, maybe not a podium, but there was a top 5 finish potential there. So what I'm going to do with this, because it's pretty easy and I do try and make things as hard as possible for for entertainment purposes, I'm going to try and create the number plaque in a matte colour scheme. That's why I've gone with a matte black. It's kind of like a black sticker if you look at the actual photographs of the bike with a number 71 on it, and you can see where that sticker, that plaque, has been tacked down. I wanted to try and create that using the matte colour scheme. I don't think it gives it quite the 3-dimensional look that I was hoping for, but it certainly looks better than it had I gone with a gloss black or a grey gloss, for example. So we've exposed that silver to create almost like a sticker. And you'll see also, maybe not now, but maybe a little bit later on, that I do try and put some like the little tacks down. I do like to add those little details where I can. But overall, not many sponsors on this one. Even when we get down to the bottom of the bike, there isn't too much sponsors. So yeah, didn't need to cut any corners there. Managed to get all of the sponsors that were on the real bike in. Prior to the racing event, Suzuka 8 Hours, they do a little bit for the community, which I think is really nice. They organised this year a kind of like supporter touring event where people can come along and you can receive exclusive arm covers, cooling towels, different bits and pieces of merchandise, and take a little ride around with the team, which I thought was really cool. Do like to you see that with motorcycle in particular, teams do like to give back. Generally really good community feel with motorcycle racing. You can see on the back as well, on the tail, that I'm going to try and do the same thing. I'm going to try and leave that matte black exposed. I am trying to squeeze out every little bit of complexity that I can on this. It would have been incredibly easy just to do the whole thing in gloss. That's not my style. So there we go, we put some tacks down. I had a really good photograph of the back of the bike, so I was able to get those tacks in the exact right place. Put it on the front as well. Don't do it in white, I usually do it in a light grey. Now we've got a little bit of room. Rather than rechange all of the colours of that sticker, I'll just put a red background and leave it white, and it actually looks identical. Pop the We Support Guide Dogs sticker on. We are cruising towards the end of this one. Just need to do the Saku on the other side. But I mentioned this on a previous video, how sometimes less details really stand out on track, and this is one of those bikes, because in watching the Suzuka 8 Hours, this was the bike that stood out. It looked awesome. So I know that once we get this out on track, it's going to look pretty great. So the team Sakurai Honda have been competing in the Suzuka 8 Hours for quite some time, even before I was born, so you know it's some time. 1990 they first started out, and they've attended every single Suzuka 8 Hours apart from one, and that one was in 2016. Now it says here that was due to an earthquake, the Kumamoto earthquake, and I wonder if that impacted the whole event or if it was just the team Sakurai Honda that were impacted. I also said that they won a race, and that was back in 2003. They clinched victory on the Honda VTR 1000 SPW. Has to be their standout achievement. Last year, 2024, they fielded 2 riders, and that was against the norm, and actually is against the norm for EWC in general. They ran with Daijiro Hura and Kazuki Ito, same as this year, but only those 2. It's not often done because it is a hell of an endurance test on the body as well as the bike. But this year you saw the Honda HRC team do the exact same thing and win. It's some achievement. And in last year they finished 6th place, which, considering the factory teams, was pretty good. They were the highest finishing Honda affiliated dealer team. An interesting bit of trivia I did find, as I'm just putting in some headlights, was the majority of the crew, obviously aside from the riders, are Sakurai Honda employees. So typically teams will do contracted professionals to run their crew during an endurance championship or endurance race, but they were just their employees, which was great. And if you work at Sakurai Honda, their chief mechanic, Mr. Kawano, he's been with the team since 1993 and has trained them all since then, which is incredible. So there we go, here's the bike. Simple, but eye-catching and will look fantastic out on the track. We're going to make a suit because that was not too challenging. Really like the orange to yellow gradient on the side. Interesting gradient under the tail. I don't know if that was supposed to look like flames. But yeah, interesting design choice. Quite easy to replicate on the game nonetheless. And you can see how the Sakurai wraps around it. A couple of sponsors on the bottom, not too many. I was able to grab them all. And the use of the black matte base just adds a nice finishing touch. So let's make a suit. So full disclosure, I have no idea what the suit looks like. I've been looking around at pictures. I found one alright picture of the front. Wasn't amazing. So I thought, you know what? Let's just create some kind of concept art. Let's imagine what a suit may look like for this team if I were to design it. So I used the Cortex suit, which I find really usable if you're creating custom suits. I think it's a great suit to use. You can edit a lot of the real estate on this suit, and I find that it's pretty friendly. It doesn't bleed through a lot and give you a lot of headaches like a lot of other suits do. So it's probably my favorite suit to use. And we'll follow the kind of stitching to create something pretty unique, but quintessential Sakurai Honda. I have made a bundle of bikes this week in preparation for a little bit of a holiday that I'm going on. So chances are, by the time this gets posted, I will be in China. I'll be traveling around China. Business and pleasure. Some cool things that I'd like to see, as well as getting some things sorted. So I had to create a couple of bikes. So if you did keep an eye on the shared liveries, you might see some spoilers, but I'll give you some heads up nonetheless. So coming up this week, I've got the next video is going to be something truly unique and truly wild. It's going to be cyan, it's going to be bright pink, it's going to be 80s, it's going to be loud, it's going to be a livery that is just going to scream at you. Yeah, I'll explain more. It's a completely custom livery that I've created as a request, and stick around for that. It's certainly one that's gonna stand out. I'll try and create a really cool thumbnail as well to go with it. But that will be an Aprilia RS V4 1000. So that will be a super bike that we'll do. Over my period of time away, we'll also have another replica livery shared. We're going to go back to road racing, so we'll see another road racing livery. I'm going to go with the BMW. It's been a while since BMW is pretty challenging to do as well, with the different contours and how it bleeds through. So that'll be a cool one. So stick around. Those will be all done, shared now if you want to go and check, but those videos will be up over the course of the next 10 days while I'm away in China. And if you watched and enjoyed the Suzuki GSX-R custom build, the white and purple one that we did for Mr. Gabriel Morgan, you can head over to @RideLiveries on Instagram right now and see the finished bike. Yep, not even a Ride 5 livery, an actual livery. It is finished, it's complete, and it looks amazing. So head over to @RideLiveries on Instagram. If you're not on Instagram, drop a comment below. If a couple of people comment, then I'll put some pictures on one of the next videos. But it turns out amazing. There will be more like that. So watch this space. There will be more ride liveries that turn into real liveries. Not too far off on this one. If you're wondering why he's got yellow armbands on, I also wondered that too. Apparently, where in endurance races, when you do qualifying, you go out in groups. You don't all go out together, and the armbands that you wear identifies as the group that you would go out in. So if you wear all the yellow armbands go out, and then there's like a bright orange, and I think there's sometimes like a bright green, like fluorescent armbands, and you would have probably seen out on track that they were wearing those. So that's why that he has those bright armbands wrapping around his arm. And you probably would have noticed that back if you watched the Daffy 41 racing team that we put on this channel quite some time ago. That turned out absolutely gorgeous. So if there's another video, if you like EWC and you want to see another livery get created, then that is one definitely to check out. I'm just adding some sponsors and bits and pieces on here just to finishing touches really. You very rarely run out of layers, so here we go. Take it out for a spin. Do I need to tell you what track we're on? I don't think I do, right? This is the Suzuka. I absolutely loved towards the end of the race, so that's Suzuka 8 Hours, when the sun set, the lights come on, you can see how everybody had the light sticks in the crowd. You could see the big wheel lit up as well. So there is a cool Sakurai Honda set for you to download on Ride 5 console version. I will go and create the wildest Aprilia RSV4 that you've seen. That'll be posted in a couple of days' time. And then I'll get on with the BMW. Thank you for watching this one. Let me know how what you thought about endurance racing on the whole. You can do some pretty good endurance races on Ride 5. Is this one that you'll be taking out for a spin on your next endurance ride? I'll be back very, very soon with the next video. Bye for now.